So Rory, do you want to give us an update on office and also new development?
Well, good evening. I sound like Perry McDonald now with some statistics, so just bear with that aspect of it. So when it comes to office, what we're seeing there, the inventory again, I think it's a common aspect. It's the inventory is low, and that's pushing the dollars per square foot up. So something that might have sold for $120 a square foot, now it's going to be the 130, 150s, maybe even higher. Some of the markets like Tower Hill, Arbor Greens, and the 43rd Street frontage seem to be doing well and demanding those types of prices. It seems to still make a lot of sense to buy an existing building and to rehab it because the price difference between buying a building and building a building is more than double. So that gap continues to make buying and remodeling very effective. If you're looking for an office pad, those are in scarce supply these days. And if you're able to find one, it's probably around $70 a square foot for the dirt where all the infrastructure is in place. We switch over to leasing then for office. That product, the office lease product remains abundant. There's plenty of that, but what we're seeing is a big gap between the traditional, what has been called Class A, which is glorified residential construction stick-built, and some of the newer products that are built, like at Innovation Square and at Celebration Point. So the price differences might be in the $15 or $16 for the stick-built. It might be in the middle 20s or upper 20s for the more current buildings, and that's a triple net. So really a difference of about $10 a square foot. According to CoStar, the leasing absorption for 2019 was a little over 300,000 square foot of office. The construction for office in 2018-19 combined, because projects like at Celebration and Innovation take a little bit longer than a year at times, that they brought to the market about 300,000 square feet of office space.
Wow.
None under construction today, according to CoStar. So we see the product that we have. And if you start today on a new project, obviously you're not going to deliver in 2020. And then lastly, just generally speaking, in terms of investor sales, according to CoStar, there were 94 office complexes sold in 2019 with a cap rate averaging 8%. The average price, $93 a square foot, so that's covering all of the office span with a 5% vacancy for those investor purchases.
Great.
You wanted something about development permits. To this end, some of the stuff you'll hear here is a rearview mirror look at what happened in 19 and a little bit of a projection of what may come in 2020. I looked at the city of Gainesville, unincorporated Alachua County, because those numbers are available and they're independent, as you may know. I took a little look at the city of Alachua just to see how the rural market might compare. The city of Alachua would be the most aggressive municipal product in the county other than the city of Gainesville, and in some cases, not as much as the city of Gainesville, maybe more. And then also just took a peek, because Mr. Charlie Lane over there has been busy building on campus, and kind of also to give you an idea of how important the economy is with the University of Florida sitting in our county. So if we look at 2019, there were 157 single-family dwelling units permitted in 2019 in the city of Gainesville. At the same time, they had 8,200 permits, counting every kind of permit that you get through the building department. Today, if you look at the development application process, anything going through a site plan review for some development activity, there are 100 projects in the queue. 47 are in the hands of the county, or the city staff in this case, and 53 are in the hands of the applicant to respond to comments. And that number will go back and forth. Likewise, in the county, the current permitting activity of new projects are 16, 9 of which are single-family subdivisions. Most of those are in Western County, and they would bring to market in 2020 400 single-family lots. 56 projects approved in 19 in the county are under construction. So what does this rural market look like? In Alachua, they did 42 single-family homes compared to Gainesville, 157. So pretty big difference there. But they have 6 single-family developments that are currently coming through the permitting pipeline that will deliver 800 lots in the city of Alachua in the coming year. The last one I want to look at is construction permitting, construction value. contractors in the room, I'm sure when you put a value on your construction permit, it's an accurate value representation of what the market is. The city of Gainesville, there is none of, this summary of data is not available in the city. John says, I apologize, our system is antiquated. It won't stay that way for long. The city of Alachua identified that they had $42 million, 42 new residential construction permits totaling $8 million, and they did in non-residential construction $15 million. Switch over to unincorporated Alachua County. In 2019, there were $406 million in single family. There was 450 units that were built in unincorporated Alachua County. The apartments, I don't know how this differs with what you had, Bo, but according to the permits, there were 450 units permitted in unincorporated Alachua County. So 450 single family, 458 multifamily.
In 19, right?
In 19.
Right.
So I should say the value of construction total permits in unincorporated Alachua County, that was $406 million. Of that, 140 was single family. So $406 million permitted construction in 2019. So let's look on the campus. In order to get information on campus, Charlie, we have to have a public records request, and it takes 2 weeks. So I couldn't get this in 2 weeks. I went to the website, which is almost as good.
It's dangerous when an engineer becomes a commercial broker, I'm just telling you.
Well, at least you didn't say anything about my hair. So
The night ain't over.
on the University of Florida campus, there's $225 million in construction. There's $450 million in design, $325 million in planning. So is the University of Florida an important economic driver in our community? I think the numbers prove it.